praying at Al-Aqsa Mosque. At that moment, Israeli soldiers sent vicious dogs toward her. But what happened next was a miracle that no one could have imagined. SubhanAllah. The Israeli soldiers were shocked to see how faith could change everything. Even the woman's reaction amazed millions. If you are a Muslim, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let's see how many proud Muslims are watching this video. In the heart of Jerusalem, among its ancient alleys and aged stones, lie countless stories and fragments of history. One such story belongs to a woman, Amina. She was a devout and God-fearing woman whose heart was filled with deep love for the Al-Aqsa Mosque. She had long nurtured the dream of one day offering prayer at this sacred place, but due to the occupying forces, that dream had become nearly unreachable, especially for women, who were often denied entry under various pretexts. Then came that miraculous morning, when Allah's mercy descended from the heavens. One early dawn, before the call to Fajr prayer, Amina woke up. She performed ablution and set out toward Al-Aqsa Mosque. The sky was still dark, and the cold wind brushed against her face, but her heart was burning with the warmth of faith. When she arrived at the main gate of the mosque, the occupying soldiers were stationed there as always. Women were once again being denied entry. Amina gently pleaded with one of the soldiers, "Please, allow me just a little time to pray." But the soldier glared at her with contempt and harshly replied, "No, go back home." Still, Amina did not give up. She knew Al-Aqsa was vast, with corners that perhaps escaped the soldiers' watchful eyes. Quietly, she slipped past and reached a secluded eastern section of the mosque. There she stood, preparing to pray. It felt as though angels surrounded her. She raised her hands in takbir and began her prayer with deep devotion and humility, as if the entire world had fallen silent. But it wasn't entirely safe. Suddenly, a young Israeli soldier emerged from behind a pillar, shouting angrily, "Didn't I tell you? Prayer is forbidden." He then reported through his walkie-talkie, "There's a woman praying near the eastern pillar. Everyone, come quickly." Within moments, several soldiers appeared. They mocked Amina. One said, "We'll teach you what happens when you defy orders." Another looked at his commander and said, "Let's release the Belgian dogs on her. That way, others will learn their lesson." The trained dogs were brought, lethal, ferocious, trained for violence. Their eyes burned like fire, teeth bared, ready to tear Amina apart. The commander raised his finger and commanded, "Attack her!" At that very moment, Amina ended her prayer, but she did not flee. Instead, she closed her eyes, raised her hands to the sky, and prayed, "O Allah, you alone are my trust. You alone are my deliverer. With your help I struggle. In your name I stand. Do not forsake me." Then, a miracle occurred. The very dogs that were moments ago raging with fury suddenly stopped. They didn't move forward. Instead, they sat down quietly. Then came an astonishing sight. The dogs looked up toward the sky, as if hearing something no one else could. Then they began to behave strangely. One dog bowed in ruku, then went into sujud. Another did exactly the same. Everyone was stunned by the sight. Those fierce, fearless dogs were now prostrating just like Amina. The soldiers stood frozen. They couldn't believe their eyes. One whispered, "Is this some kind of sorcery?" Another began to tremble in fear and awe. The commander again tried to give the order to attack, but this time, the dogs did not obey. The dogs turned on them, growling ferociously and driving them away. A terrifying yet unbelievable scene unfolded. The same ferocious Belgian dogs that were unleashed on Amina were now chasing the occupiers themselves. Chaos spread across the city. Soldiers ran in panic as the dogs roared after them. Some tripped and fell. Others climbed onto military vehicles, desperate to escape. Meanwhile, Amina rose calmly from her prostration, as if nothing had happened. Her prayer continued without pause. The news spread like wildfire throughout the city. People exclaimed, "A woman stood in prayer, and the vicious dogs bowed with her." Those who sought to frighten her and teach her a lesson were the ones who learned it instead. After this, no soldier dared to stop women from praying at Al-Aqsa. Some even feared approaching the mosque at night, worried those dogs might reappear before them. Amina was just a woman who wanted to pray in the house of Allah, but her faith transformed her into a force no weapon could defeat. She knew whoever places their trust in Allah finds in Him a helper, a protector. And when Allah wills something, He simply says, "Be," and it is. This event was etched into the walls of Al-Aqsa as a living testimony. This story proves faith is stronger than chains, and Allah can bless even His most humble servant with miracles that leave the mighty in awe. After the incident, a mysterious silence settled over the city. The soldiers had fled in fear, while the once fierce dogs returned to Amina, like loyal guardians at her side. Amina completed her prayer and stood up. The dogs surrounded her, as if waiting for her next command. She couldn't fully grasp what had happened, but her heart whispered. Allah Himself had been by her side. She slowly walked toward the mosque's gate, the dogs trailing behind her like shadows. Those who had witnessed the scene from afar stepped forward, as if to receive blessings from this remarkable woman. An elderly scholar asked in amazement, "Who are you, sister? How did you do this with the dogs?" She softly replied, "I am but a weak servant. I trusted in Allah, and He was my helper." At the nearby base, revenge was being plotted. The defeated soldiers gathered, fear in their eyes, awaiting orders. The officer shouted, "This woman! She's a witch! She must be stopped before she turns the people against us." They sent a disguised soldier to spy on Amina and found she lived in a Jerusalem alley with her ailing husband and young son. The plan was clear: strike the next night under the cover of darkness when no one would notice. Late at night, while caring for her husband, Amina noticed shadows approaching through the window. Her heart raced, but she remembered Allah's words, "Whoever fears Allah, He will make a way out for them." She rushed to her son's room and whispered, "Son, soldiers are coming. Run to the neighbor's house." The boy escaped, and just then, soldiers burst in, shouting, "Where is the witch Amina?" Then, Allah's miraculous power appeared once more, this time even more fearsome. Amina stood firm and declared, "My only crime is that I wish to pray in the house of Allah." The leader sneered, "Your dogs won't save you today." They brought out a cage filled with savage dogs. The dogs were released but suddenly stopped and began barking in a rhythm like praising Allah. Then, in a divine fury, they lunged at the soldiers as if enacting Allah's vengeance. One dog even leapt onto a soldier and snatched his weapon. Terrified, the soldiers screamed, "These aren't dogs, they're soldiers of the heavens!" Neighbors rushed in with sticks and stones. One shouted, "Let her go! Leave this house now!" The soldiers fled, abandoning the dogs, vanishing into the shadows. From that night onwards, Amina became known to the people of Jerusalem as the one with whom the dogs prostrated. Her story spread quickly, and even many soldiers, upon seeing any woman wearing a veil, would tremble, thinking, "Is that her?" But Amina did not seek fame or revenge. Her only desire was to pray peacefully at Al-Aqsa Mosque. After that, no soldier interfered with her. In fact, some would step aside when they saw her, as though they were afraid of some invisible force, and the dogs that had prostrated beside her remained in that neighborhood, guarding her house throughout the night. It was as though they were assigned creations, dedicated to her protection. Amina would go to pray at Al-Aqsa Mosque every day. She would pray to Allah, asking that Jerusalem be freed and that the plots of the oppressors be turned back upon them. For faith is the greatest weapon, and for those who place their trust in Allah, He is sufficient.